Hi, I'm Mira. The day my mom blamed me for my dad's illness was the day my world shattered. She looked at me with cold eyes and said it was my fault, leaving me abandoned and aching with a hurt I couldn't name. I still hear her words echoing in the silence of my room, a wound that refuses to heal. Yet somehow, I hold myself together, searching for answers in the ruins of what we once were. Please subscribe, like, and tell me where in the world you're listening from. I truly want to know who hears this story. To understand how I ended up here, I need to take you back a few years to when everything seemed normal. Or so I thought. It started with small things. Mom began talking about the future more often, especially about financial security. At first, I didn't think much of it. Parents worry about that stuff, right? But there was something in her voice, a calculated edge that made my skin prickle, like she was playing a game I couldn't see. One evening, over dinner, she brought it up. "Honey," she said to Dad, "I've been thinking. We should get life insurance for you, just in case." Dad looked up, fork paused midair. "Life insurance?" "I'm healthy as a horse." "Why now?" Mom smiled, but it was hollow, a mask. "It's better to be prepared. Susan's husband got it, and they're so glad they did." Dad frowned, but nodded. "If you say so. It's responsible." I watched from the corner, a knot tightening in my chest. Why did her words feel so rehearsed? A few nights later, I woke up thirsty and crept downstairs. Passing the study, I saw Mom hunched over the desk, papers scattered around her. She was muttering. Premiums, payouts, dates. Her head snapped up when she saw me, and she shoved the papers into a drawer. "What are you doing up, sweetie?" she asked, her tone too bright, too forced. "Just getting water," I said, but my eyes lingered on the desk. What was she hiding? Then came the day the insurance agent arrived. I sat in the living room, pretending to read, ears straining. Dad hesitated, asking about costs and clauses. Mom's voice was smooth, insistent. "It's for our future, dear. For the kids." Her hand rested on his, guiding him. He sighed and signed. The agent left, and Mom smiled at Dad. "You did the right thing. We're safe now." But when her gaze flicked to me, it was ice cold, and a shiver ran through me. Looking back, that was the start of it all. I was just a kid, trusting them blindly. How could I have known she was weaving a web, one that would trap us all? She never said a word about her real plan, but I see it now. Those papers, that smile. It was the first move in a game she'd play for years, waiting patiently to destroy us. Years passed, and the insurance policy sat forgotten in a drawer, a silent promise of security. But as time crept on, Dad's health began to falter in ways no one could explain. It started with fatigue that clung to him like a shroud, then strange aches that gnawed at his bones. Soon, his robust frame withered away, his skin turning a sickly pallor no rest could cure. He spoke of nausea, dizziness, a relentless pain in his gut. Doctors fumbled with guesses, chronic fatigue, autoimmune issues. But their tests revealed nothing. Pills piled up, useless. He was fading, a ghost of the father I knew, and it tore at me to watch him waste away. Mom was always there, hovering, her hands steady as she cooked his meals, her smile too tight, too forced. Something felt wrong, a shadow creeping into my thoughts. The mother who'd once sung me to sleep now seemed a stranger, her eyes cold and calculating. I tried to dismiss it, but the unease grew, a splinter I couldn't pull free. I began to notice things, small, chilling details. Mom shooed me from the kitchen when she cooked, her laugh sharp and hollow. She'd linger over Dad's plate, watching him eat with a gaze that made my skin prickle. One day, I found an empty vial in the trash, unlabeled, suspicious. "What's this?" I asked. She snatched it away, pale, stammering, "Just an old spice bottle." But her voice cracked. Then came the whispers at night, her voice desperate on the phone. "One more week. I'll pay, I swear. Bills stacked up on the counter, a silent scream of debt, though she swore we were fine. It hit me later. She was drowning, trapped by gambling, and Dad's insurance was her escape. One sleepless night, I stumbled into the kitchen and froze. Mom stood over a pot, her back to me, sprinkling something glittering into the stew. "Mom?" I whispered. She spun, a vial slipping from her grasp, shattering on the floor. "Mira, why are you up?" she snapped, her voice a blade. I stared at the glass shards, heart hammering. "What was that?" I pressed. "Spices," she laughed, brittle and false. But I knew it wasn't. The house turned suffocating, every creak a warning, every shadow a threat. I searched her room, finding gambling receipts, threats from loan sharks, and a bottle labeled arsenic. My blood iced over. Arsenic? Was this her weapon? My hands shook as the truth clawed at me. I had to save Dad, even if it meant facing her. The next day, I vowed to uncover it all. How, why, everything. But the darkness waiting was worse than I feared. It's been weeks since I found the arsenic, and sleep has become a stranger. Every night, I lie awake, staring at the ceiling, the weight of what I know crushing me. Dad's cough echoes through the house, a constant reminder of the poison seeping into his veins. And Mom? Mom is a ghost, slipping in and out of rooms, her eyes darting, her smile too tight. But it's the nights that haunt me most. Lately, she's been leaving the house after midnight, the front door clicking shut like a secret she thinks I don't hear. One night, I can't take it anymore. I wait, heart pounding, until I hear her footsteps on the stairs. The door creaks open, then closes. I slip out of bed, pull on a hoodie, and follow her into the cold. She's a shadow ahead, moving fast. I keep my distance, ducking behind cars, my breath shallow. She stops at an alley, and a man steps out, rough, unshaven, his voice a low growl. "You're late," he snaps. Mom hands him something, an envelope. "This is all I have," she whispers. He counts it, sneers. "Not enough. You know what happens if you don't pay." She nods, trembling, and he melts back into the dark. I crouch behind a dumpster, bile rising in my throat. Gambling debts. It's worse than I thought. I start watching her every move. I riffle through her drawers when she's out, finding crumpled receipts from casinos, loan shark threats scrawled on napkins. One night, I hide my phone in the kitchen, recording her as she cooks. She hums, but her hands shake as she stirs the pot. Then, she reaches into her apron, pulls out a small vial, and sprinkles it into Dad's portion. My blood turns to ice. I have it. Proof. The next day, I can't hold it in anymore. Dad's at the doctor's, and Mom's in the kitchen, scrubbing a pan like it's her lifeline. I slam the phone on the counter, the video playing. Her face goes white. "Mira, what is this?" she stammers. "You know what it is," I hiss. "You're poisoning him for the insurance, for your debts." She collapses into a chair, sobbing. "I didn't want to. They'll kill me if I don't pay. I thought just a little to make him sick, not kill him. Then we'd get the money and—" I cut her off, rage boiling over. "You're killing him. He's dying, Mom." She falls to her knees, clutching my legs. "Please, Mira, don't tell anyone. I'll stop. I'll find another way. You're my daughter. Don't destroy me." Her tears soak my jeans, and for a moment I waver. She's my mother. But then I see Dad's hollow eyes, his frail hands, and I harden. "You destroyed us," I whisper, pulling away. "I can't let you keep doing this." She crumples, wailing, but I turn and walk out, heart shattered, knowing what I have to do next. Walking away from Mom that night felt like tearing myself in two. Her sobs echoed behind me, but I couldn't look back. I had to save Dad, even if it meant destroying what was left of our family. The next morning, I gathered everything, the vial, the video, the gambling receipts, and shoved them into a bag. My hands shook, but my mind was clear. I called a lawyer first, a friend of Dad's, and told him everything. His voice was steady, but I could hear the shock. Mira, this is serious. We need to go to the police immediately. I nodded, though he couldn't see me. I know. At the station, the officers' faces hardened as I laid out the evidence. They took the vial for testing, watched the video, and scribbled notes. We'll need to bring your mother in for questioning, one said. I swallowed hard. Do what you have to. Hours later, they arrested her. She didn't resist, just stared at me with hollow eyes as they led her away. I wanted to scream, to cry, but I stood frozen, a statue of rage and grief. Dad was still at the hospital when I told him. The doctors had started treatment, suspecting poison after I tipped them off. He was weak, but awake. I sat by his bed, holding his hand. Dad, it was Mom. She's been poisoning you. His face crumpled, tears spilling down his cheeks. Why? He whispered. For the insurance, I said, my voice breaking. She's in debt. He closed his eyes, a sob wrenching from his chest. My own wife. I squeezed his hand. I'm so sorry. But he shook his head. You saved me, Mira. You're the strong one. The house felt like a war zone in the days that followed. Relatives called, some in disbelief, others in fury. Mom's sister accused me of lying, of tearing the family apart. She's your mother, she spat over the phone. And she tried to kill my father, I shot back, my voice steel. I hung up, trembling. The betrayal cut deep, not just from Mom, but from everyone who doubted me. I felt abandoned, a stranger in my own life. But I couldn't crumble. Dad needed me. Each day I sat with him, watching him grow stronger, though the light in his eyes was dim. He'd stare out the window, lost in thought, and I knew he was replaying decades of memories, searching for signs he'd missed. One night, he turned to me, voice soft. I don't know how to forgive her. I took a breath. You don't have to, but you have to keep going. For me. He nodded, a ghost of a smile. You're right. We'll get through this. And we would. I'd make sure of it. Mom's trial was coming, and I'd be there, testifying if I had to. She'd face justice, and I'd stand tall, no longer the girl who cowered in fear. I was Mira, the daughter who fought back, who chose truth over lies. No one would take that from me. The courtroom was silent as the judge read the verdict. Mom stood, head bowed, as the words, guilty, echoed through the room. She'd serve years behind bars, attempted murder, fraud. The list was long. I watched from the back, Dad beside me, his hand trembling in mine. When they led her away, she glanced at me, her eyes pleading for something I couldn't give. I turned away. It was over. In the weeks that followed, the house felt lighter, like a storm had passed. Dad's health improved, slowly but steadily. The doctors said the poison had done damage, but he was a fighter. He started physical therapy, and I'd sit with him, cheering every small victory, a longer walk, a stronger grip. We didn't talk much about Mom. It was too raw, too tangled. But one evening, as we sat on the porch, he sighed. I never thought family could hurt like this. I nodded, staring at the sunset. Me neither. But we're still here. That means something. I thought a lot about family after that. Growing up, I believed blood was everything, unbreakable, sacred. But Mom shattered that. She was supposed to protect us, not tear us apart. It took time, but I realized family isn't just who you're born to, it's who stands by you when the world crumbles. Dad did that. So did the friends who checked in, the lawyer who fought for us. Love isn't guaranteed by blood. It's earned, chosen, every day. As Dad healed, so did I. The trial stripped me bare, but it also forged something new. I wasn't the scared girl who hid in the shadows anymore. I'd faced the unthinkable and survived. I started therapy too, unraveling the knots of anger and grief. It wasn't easy. Some days I'd cry until my throat ached, mourning the mother I thought I had. Other days, I'd feel a fierce pride. I'd saved Dad. I'd stood up for what was right. I was stronger than I knew. School became a refuge. I threw myself into my studies, dreaming of college, of a life beyond these walls. I wanted to be a lawyer, maybe, or a counselor, someone who helps others find their voice. I joined clubs, made friends who knew nothing of my past, and for the first time, I felt like Mira, not just the girl with the broken family. One night, as I lay in bed, I thought about the future. It was uncertain, but that didn't scare me anymore. I'd learned to trust myself, to define my own worth. No one could take that away. I closed my eyes, imagining a life where pain was a memory, not a shadow. I saw Dad laughing again, saw myself graduating, building something new. It wasn't a perfect vision, but it was mine, and that was enough. I drifted to sleep with a small smile. The road ahead was long, but I was ready. I'd walk it, one step at a time, with hope as my compass.